Hello, Patrick McKeown here. Thanks so much for supporting our Buteyko Clinic channel. Can I ask you a big favour? Would you mind subscribing? And with this, we can support the channel more, we can put out more videos, and it would really mean a lot. Buteyko, for me, has been life-changing and life-changing for the people that we're working with, and we would love to see it getting out there. So please subscribe. Thanks very much. Hello, Patrick McKeown here, Buteyko Clinic International. Today I'm going to talk about the brain. I think it's a pretty important organ. Okay, you think, oh yeah, you might say it's the heart. The heart, of course, is the engine, but the brain, this is the CEO. This is the executive decision maker. This is pretty important because our quality of life, our ability to apply ourselves, our ability to reach self-actualization or your full potential is going to be influenced by this organ here. It's only 2 pounds in weight. In between the two ears, can you influence it? Let's look at what the brain needs. 25% of the blood pumped by the heart goes to the brain. It's a lot of blood. What happens if you're breathing a little bit off and you're reducing blood flow to the brain? 20% of the oxygen that you take into your body goes to the brain. So your brain is pretty hungry. 2% of your body weight, but it consumes 10 times more oxygen than any other organ or system. So we better give that fuel. So let's look at this. If you're going around with your mouth open, and I did a couple of videos on this looking at Stranger Things, of course, was one of them. And if you want to see a little bit how society looks at a mouth breather, look at that video. But anyway, mouth open breathing, you typically breathe a bit faster. You breathe upper chest. Not good. Why? Because it's blowing off too much carbon dioxide. And the loss of carbon dioxide drives up blood pH. And too alkaline pH is not good either. I know there's people saying, alkaline this, alkaline the other. Forget about that. Let's look at normal. Normal blood pH, 7.365. The primary regulator of your blood pH is not the food that you eat. It's how much air do you breathe. Okay, so you blow off too much carbon dioxide, you drive up blood pH, and this puts brain cells into overdrive. And they start firing all over the place. And the problem with firing all over the place is that, well, if they're firing all over the place, our thinking is all over the place. Not ideal. Next thing, as there's a loss of carbon dioxide, blood vessels constrict. So, blood vessels narrow. And we said that the human brain, 25% of the blood pumped by the heart is going to the brain. Not only that, 20% of the oxygen brought into the body goes to the brain. And of course, when we take a breath of air in through our nose, ideally, you know what I am, like when it comes to mouth breathing, it's not really good for breathing. You breathe in and out through your nose. As you take that air into your nose and it arrives in the small air sacs in the lungs, oxygen transfers from your lungs into the blood. This blood then is pumped by the heart throughout the body. So your blood is carrying oxygen. Okay. So if we're breathing too hard and too fast, either during rest or during exercise or during sleep, we are literally causing our blood vessels to constrict. And it's not just that. Let's look at oxygen, because back in 1904, there was a Danish physiologist called Christian Bohr, and he said that carbon dioxide is a pretty important gas because as carbon dioxide increases, blood pH slightly drops, and the red blood cells which carry oxygen release oxygen more readily, and that's the Bohr effect. The affinity of hemoglobin for oxygen reduces in the presence of carbon dioxide and drop to blood pH. Now we think of the brain. We can literally influence brain cell excitability. We can influence blood flow that goes to the brain. We can influence oxygen delivery that goes to the brain. And another thing about the brain is, of course, sleep. And this also ties in with, well, if you have your mouth open during sleep, you're more likely to be snoring. If you snore like that, you're not going to have a partner, put it that way, because they're going to absolutely abscond. They're gone. They're not going to stay in the same room as you. But you're going to wake up feeling tired. And if you wake up feeling tired, what's going to be impacted? Your brain. Okay. So we spend 22 years in formal education training how to think, training how to analyze, training and developing the left side of the brain into this sharp analytical tool. But yet, have you ever considered how your brain works? Have you ever considered how your breathing influences your brain? And if you want to get the most out of life, if you want to be productive, to be creative, to excel, to have good energy, to be in a good mood, to be happy, that's what your brain is for. Think about your breath. Don't go around with your mouth open. Don't go around breathing hard and fast. It's not good. You're going to sabotage your ability. And likely, you may not reach your full potential. But forget about that. Let's think on a positive note. Do the Buteyko method. It is primarily driven to improve blood flow, improve oxygen delivery, stimulate the vagus nerve, improve your sleep quality in a simple breathing technique. And not all breathing exercises are the same. Ask, whenever you do a breathing exercise, is it helping? And especially, is it helping this? Is it helping the brain? That's for today.